dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Sith Talk. Today we have on the show Mike from A Guy Who Loves Star Wars YouTube channel. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. So tell us a little bit about your channel and where we can find you at.
A guy who loves Star Wars on everything on Twitter, formerly or X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the works. Um, and yeah, we're just grinding, of course, as always. Star Wars content never stops.
Yesterday was a pretty big milestone for your channel hitting 5K. How does that feel, man?
It's pretty great. You too, actually. You hit 5K yesterday too.
I know, isn't that crazy, bro?
Yeah,
Like the same day.
same day to end
Yeah,
the
man.
year.
Yeah, to end like, what a way to end the year. Like, I knew for me it was creeping up, but I'm like, "Man, it's kinda slow. I don't know. It'll probably be the 1st week of January," and then like that, out of nowhere, bam, it
Yeah.
hit.
Yeah, mine came out of nowhere big time because I didn't even think I was gonna make 4K by the end of this year, and then, like, 2 weeks ago, it just skyrocketed. I had a short that I posted that, like, popped off, so it was kinda crazy. It was really fast.
Oh, was it the one that because Theory brought up one of your shorts on one of his lives.
Yeah, it actually wasn't that one. That one did pretty well, but yeah, no, it wasn't that
Yeah.
one. But yeah, that definitely did help for sure.
Yeah, because I remember that. I remember he brought it up. I'm like, "Oh, that's Mike's short." Like,
Yep,
I know a guy who loves Star Wars.
yep,
Like, I think he brought you up, like, a couple times on a couple different streams.
yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. Theory's
he's
such a
cool.
great guy, man.
Yeah, he is. He's very cool.
So, everyone that comes on the show, we start off with 3 questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
So, the first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Alright, that's an easy one. For me, it's Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I
Nice.
could argue Empire is probably my second, but it's Revenge of the Sith is definitely my first.
And why Revenge of the Sith? What is it about it?
So, I'll argue this till the end of time. Revenge of the Sith is a masterpiece. From start to finish, it, I think, is the best Star Wars movie. It opens with the best, or one of the best at least, space fight scenes in Star Wars. One of the best
Yep.
with Obi-Wan and Anakin, of course, going to save, Palps. But from start to finish, it's got the most action. It's got the best lightsaber duel, in my opinion, with Obi-Wan versus Anakin at the end. Even like Yoda versus Palpatine's extremely underrated. Even, of course, Obi-Wan versus Grievous, which most people just remember for "Hello There,"
Yeah, yeah.
is an incredible fight as well. It's just so action packed, and you get the fall of Anakin through the whole thing. So it's
Yeah.
like it's just the best. It's the best. And it ends with the good guys losing, which I'm a big fan of, but
Yep.
it's yeah.
Yeah, Revenge is my favorite too. Did you get to see it in theaters when it came out in 2005?
Nope.
No?
I was 3.
I remember
Oh, there you
seeing
go.
it when it came out, and, like, I went that Thursday to the midnight release, and it wasn't even midnight, it was midnight because back then you had to wait till midnight, it wasn't like how it is now for movies, and, like, it's just seeing it because like, when you went, you knew what was gonna happen, you knew it had to end with him becoming Vader,
Yeah.
but, like, seeing that happen, seeing the fall, and then even seeing Luke and Leia at the very end, and then the twin sons, it was just such, like, a beautiful beginning to end, like, that movie is a masterpiece, and I pray next year for the 20th anniversary that they put it back in theaters. Because if I could see that in IMAX on today's screen, I
Yeah.
would be so happy.
Yeah. This year I went and watched, Return of the Jedi in, IMAX or yeah, I think it was IMAX, but I went to go see that in the theaters. Seeing Star Wars in theaters is just unlike anything else
It
'cause
really it
obviously I wasn't alive during Return of the Jedi's release.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
really is. I was lucky enough, I got to see Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and everything since then in theaters.
that's
I didn't
awesome.
I didn't get to see the OGs, but, in 2020, when they re-released Empire, I got to see that in theaters, and man, the feeling of seeing that on the big screen in 2020 was amazing. Imagine back in the day.
Yeah, it must have been insane. Because Star Wars hit the ground running from A New Hope, like, nobody expected it, so it was this
Yeah.
massive success. It would've been crazy.
Yeah, exactly, so now the next question is, what's your favorite Star Wars show?
See, this is a little bit more controversial. I think maybe it's a recency bias type thing, but I think Ahsoka is the best single season of a show. I'll put it that way. I think Mando as a show is probably better,
Uh-huh.
but as a single season, I think Ahsoka was the best. I don't know. It's very close with Mando season 2. Mando season 2 is quite the season of television.
Bro, I am literally right there with you. Like, if someone were to ask me what's your favorite show, it's Ahsoka, and like, it's for me, it's just because I love Rebels, so it's literally just
Yes.
that live action. But like, the stuff we get with Hayden, like, it's that's it. Like, I was sold. I was sold. But
Yep.
for you, what? Why is Ahsoka your number one?
So same like you, I'm a massive Rebels fan. Like whenever people talk about Clone Wars and Rebels, maybe it's because like I didn't really watch Clone Wars as it was released, and I did
Hmm.
watch Rebels as it was released, and maybe it's just something along those lines. I feel like I have a bigger connection to like Kanan and Ezra and Hera and all those characters. And Ahsoka is probably one of my favorite characters of all time.
Hmm.
She's definitely top 5 easily. Um, and yeah, getting to see Clone Wars in live action, getting to see Hayden and or Anakin and Ahsoka in live action together, it's just like nothing beats that. That 5th episode of Ahsoka is by far the best episode of anything we've seen from any show of Star
Yeah,
Wars. It's incredible.
I remember, and like, they had that fan event by me, kind of. It would have been like an hour and a half drive to get there, but
Oh, yeah.
I worked that day, so it would have been too complicated, so I didn't bother. But I was home for it. I reacted to it, and that 5th episode was so special. And like, at one point, I was like, "Bro, I can't even handle this. This is too much." Like, I thought it was gonna be like a few minutes of Hayden, not a full blown episode
Yeah.
showing different arcs. Like, it was just so beautiful how it was done. That
Yeah.
episode, man, I'll never forget it, man.
It was such a smart move by them too, because they put Hayden at the end of episode 4, and they were like, "You're gonna get something special with episode 5," and they even put it in movie theaters, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
It was just something special, and they knew that it was something special because, like, you look at the outcome from that. Dave Filoni's got this massive promotion.
Yeah.
They put it into theaters because they knew it was gonna be a success, and it's like, we're gonna most I mean, it hasn't been greenlit yet, but we're probably gonna get an Ahsoka season 2. Dave's getting his own movie, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was wild.
No, for sure. Now, the last question is, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
This is always a tough one. I mean, it changes a lot all the time. I think probably the most consistent character to be my favorite character in Star Wars is Anakin.
Nice.
Just because he is pretty much Star Wars at this point. He's the main guy. It's the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker, and you spend the most time with him. I mean, 7
Yeah.
seasons of the Clone Wars, 6 movies. He's in Ahsoka now. He's involved with everything pretty much. Even very loosely, he's involved with the sequel trilogy. So I think it's just got to be Anakin. I mean, Ahsoka's probably at the top of my list too. I love Ezra a lot more than most people do. He's a very cool character, and
Yeah.
since now he's in live action, I mean, we could get a lot more of him. Maul is probably one of my favorite bad guys.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. Maul's my favorite.
really
Yeah. I
nice.
love Darth Maul, man.
Darth Maul is really cool because his character's cool in the Phantom Menace, and he's like a cool kind of mysterious guy.
Yeah.
But the majority of his stuff is in animation in the Clone
Yeah.
Wars and in Rebels, and I mean, his ending is just perfect.
Yes. I know. I know. Hoping for a way, somehow, some way, they just give us more Darth Maul, whether it's live action or animated. I feel we had a chance in Ahsoka in that 5th episode, because that Siege of Mandalore flashback, you could have had him sitting on the throne in the background, or even
Oh,
just showed his silhouette as Ahsoka and Anakin were talking about, this is the Siege of Mandalore, and if it would have cut to just seeing Maul there,
yeah,
like, oh,
that would've been crazy. You got to see the Mandalorian,
Mandalorians,
which is
yeah,
cool, but
yeah,
yeah, getting more live action Maul would be really cool. I mean, you got him in Solo, and if Solo was probably more of a success, you probably would have seen a Solo
I know.
2 or some sort of spin-off from that, but just because of course, the box office and that's just probably not gonna happen. The thing is, too, you got the character of Kiara, who's honestly one of my, like,
Oh,
sneaky favorite
Kira.
characters.
Yes,
Or
yes.
yeah, Kira, whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's becomes the leader of the Crimson Dawn. Do you read any of the comics?
I read some of it. She's trying to hunt down Palps and stuff, right?
Yeah, so she goes
It's crazy.
absolutely crazy in this
Yeah.
comic run over the last couple of years, where the War of the Bounty Hunters going into Crimson Reign and all that stuff, and she's literally the apprentice of Maul. Now, she might not have Force abilities, but she
Yeah.
gets trained by Maul, and getting to see that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, because isn't that at the end of Solo where Maul was like, "Come meet me on Dathomir," and she was going to Dathomir to train with Maul?
Yes,
Like how? Oh my
a
god!
and what's crazy about that is he says, "Come to Dathomir," and Thrawn is going to Dathomir right now. Obviously,
What?
Maul is dead,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's always you never know.
I'm hoping that there's some crazy loophole because like Thrawn is on Dathomir with a bunch of the Night Sisters and a bunch of like caskets of who knows what,
Yep,
and like, are they gonna resurrect people? Like Maul's body's on Tatooine, which we know is not that far from Dathomir.
nope.
Like, imagine if they were to resurrect like Maul and Savage, and like Thrawn had Maul and Savage as his like answers to the Jedi because he needs some Sith force sensitive people by his side. He can't compete.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, you look at, the Legends Heir to the Empire, he's got Jorah Sabaoth, and he's
Yep.
got Luke Skywalker,
Yeah.
um, but Joruus isn't really a canon character now, and
Yeah.
Jorah Sabaoth is just a clone of Jorah Sabaoth, who was once a Jedi. So you could see something similar to that where Maul is the replacement for that, and they just bring him back to life, whether it's a clone or it's actually him being resurrected because we know the Night Sisters can resurrect people.
Yeah.
It
I'm
would be
very interested to see what they do with that. I feel like Mando season 4 is gonna literally be like an Ahsoka season 1.5 because like Thrawn's back in the galaxy, Ezra's back over there. Like, what else is gonna happen in Mando season 4?
yeah, a lot of people's complaints about Ahsoka is that Thrawn like, people love Thrawn, absolutely love Thrawn, whether it's from Legends or canon, they love Thrawn. So they were kinda, like, not too pleased about what they did with Thrawn at the end of that season. And I can kinda see where they're coming from. Again, because Anakin showing up was so cool, the back half of that season kinda got, like, let down because people wanted
Yeah.
more Anakin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the Thrawn stuff was hard to do because he's going up against Ahsoka and Ezra and Sabine, like, these are Force users who would one-on-one just destroy him.
Exactly.
So, he's trying to get back home. He's trying to run. So, he does successfully do that, and I think Mando Season 4 is where we're gonna get to see a lot of what Thrawn can really do, because now, obviously, Grogu's a Force sensitive, but not like, he won't be involved too much. But
Yeah.
now he's going up against the New Republic and Mando, and these non-force sensitives, and we're actually gonna get to see Thrawn, like, use his the Thrawn,
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
his smarts to outsmart everybody.
Yeah, and I think too, I think in Mando we're gonna see Ezra meet Luke or try to find Luke as an answer because Ezra can't go up against Thrawn solo. He did that before and it he's still
Didn't work.
fine. So
Y yeah,
imagine that seeing Ezra meet Luke for the first time.
that would be amazing. Well, because I believe Ezra and Luke are, like, born on the same day or something like that,
Oh,
they're both
they're like the same age at that
yeah,
point,
yeah, yeah.
right? Something
Yeah,
like
so
that.
that would be kinda cool, and it's like Ezra's met Leia before, Ezra's met
He
Vader
has.
before.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
he has all this connection to Luke, he's just never met Luke himself before, so
Yeah.
that would be kinda cool.
Forgot, yeah, because there was that one episode where Leia was on the ship with them.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, it would be like a beautiful, like, full circle tie-in
yeah.
because they did all meet. That man, I'm hyped for Mando season 4. Mando season 3 was kind of a letdown. What'd you think of season 3?
I think on season 3 and honestly, I know a lot of people really, really dislike it, I liked it more than most.
Uh-huh.
I definitely love season 2 out of the 3 the most,
Oh, yeah.
season 3 is probably my least favorite, but by any means, I don't hate the season. I think there's a lot of filler stuff in there, and a lot of it probably comes off the backs of Rangers of the New Republic being canceled.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you look at the 45 minutes of Dr. Pershing in, like, that 3rd episode,
It's like an
and
Andor episode.
it's yeah, it's like an Andor episode, and it just feels very out of place, like, it's not involving Mando or Bo-Katan or anybody really, and you were waiting for it to connect to them, and you were waiting for something to happen on Coruscant and maybe see somebody or whatever, and it didn't happen, and a lot of that stuff is probably because of the cancellation of that show, and just the fact that they had to sort of do some switching around when Gina Carano got fired and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. So, with that being said, I still think Mando is a good season because of 2 things. First of all, you get a bunch of really, really cool stuff with Order 66 flashbacks, finally getting to see who saved Grogu.
Yep.
Getting to see that was really, really cool.
Yeah.
It really doesn't explain much because they just go off Coruscant, but Grogu is still, like, unconnected to the Force when we first see him in Mando season 1, and he's
Yeah.
with pirates, and it's a like, there's a lot of story to be told there still.
Yep.
But I think what's really cool is the finale, when not only just getting the, end cap to Moff Gideon's story and a bunch of other stuff from The Mandalorian, but going all the way back to the Clone Wars and Rebels, getting to see the Mandalorians, who've been at civil war for thousands of years, come
Yep.
together and retake their homeworld from the Empire, who destroyed it all those years ago. It does seem like a full circle type thing, and that's why the end of season 3 felt like a real ending, even though we are gonna get a 4th season.
Yeah, no, that for sure. Do you think Moff Gideon's really dead, man?
I've seen the theories that he's not. I think he is. I think Moff Gideon played his role. I think he was a very good villain for the first couple seasons,
Yeah.
and he did set up force sensitive cloning, which is
Yeah.
gonna be huge coming down the line in hopefully what Thrawn's trying to do, and of course what Palpatine eventually does. I don't see him coming back. I don't know. It just seems a little like he did his job, I think, in
Mhm.
3 seasons, and I don't know. I don't see it. I think Thrawn is gonna take over. I think we've finally seen the last of Moff Gideon this time, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I just love Giancarlo as an actor because, bro,
That's
like
true.
Breaking Bad, Gustavo Fring,
Yeah.
he's like one of the biggest villains in all of TV history, period. So I feel like, man, they got to use him more. Like he didn't get enough screen time. This is the best guy to be the best villain, and like he had a Beskar armor suit. Like he's dead,
Yep.
really in that. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
That's
Uh,
true. And he has the helmet on too when he dies, right?
Yeah,
So
he's
that
fully
yeah.
Beskar armor, like, isn't that
Yeah.
undestroyable?
That you definitely have a good argument there. And yes, Giancarlo is an incredible actor, and that's a big complaint of season 3 is he's only in the last 2
I
episodes.
know, it took too long to
It
get to
took
that.
too long.
It took too long because, like, for me, when I watched Mandalorian season 3, I thought the whole season was gonna be them getting to the mines of Mandalore to atone, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He did that in an episode and a half, so
Yeah.
after that I kinda was like, "What are we doing?" Like, every episode, I'm like, what's this leading to?" Until we got to the end of the 6th or 7th episode where you saw he escaped from his ship, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, now it makes sense."
Yeah.
And then we only got, like, a little bit here. I did like him talking smack about Thrawn, and the reason I don't want him dead is because I would love to see Thrawn and Moff, like, in a verbal face-off because it just would be so fire.
That would be pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, that whole, like, shadow council meeting and stuff was very, very important,
Yeah,
and now after Ahsoka, it's become even more important because now we've seen Thrawn and we know what that's kinda happening because when Thrawn comes back, he's gonna sort of bring the Empire back together, and if Moff
yeah.
Gideon was still alive, that would be like an opposing force where they'd be fighting against each other. That would be pretty cool. That would be really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that would be, actually really, really cool. Um, but yeah, no, like you just said though, like, we thought going into Mando season 3 that the entire show was gonna be about them going to Mandalore and Din going to bathe in the living waters, and that happened in the first 2 episodes, and then, like, you're just kind of hanging out for a couple episodes or, like, 4 or 5 episodes, and
yeah,
then the last 2 episodes are really, really good. So it's
yep,
like 2 good episodes on either end, and then the middle is just a bunch of filler stuff, and it's a little yeah.
yeah. One thing that surprised me that I didn't expect at all, and there weren't even really much rumors or leaks about it, was when Zeb showed up at that bar.
I
I
know.
You must have freaked out too since you love Rebels, like, seeing
Yes.
Gareth Zeb Aurelius, like, just stroll up, like, "What?"
Yeah. Or how about he shows up in Mando and he looks so good,
He
and then
does.
he's not in Ahsoka.
Bro, I was hoping at least at the very end when Ezra came off the ship that Zeb would at least be there.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, like, this is the show for you to be in, not Mando. Now, he did look amazing. I'm sure it was very expensive to do that, but, like,
Yeah.
bro, y'all got money, like, throw him in Ahsoka where he belongs.
Yeah, it seems like and they do this a lot through these Disney Plus shows, they're waiting until the movie to give us, like, everything we want.
Oh.
I mean, like, you think about it, the rebels could have been all together at the end of Ahsoka. Oh, obviously, Ahsoka and Sabine being stranded, but,
Yeah.
like, it could have been Zeb could have been there.
Yeah.
It was just as easy to put him there as it was to not put him there, and it definitely seems like a lot of things that they're doing, whether it's, like, Luke and Ezra meeting or all the Rebels crew being back together, they might just be waiting to show that on the biggest screen possible, like they did with episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Ooh, true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like they want to put Star Wars on the big screen and give you the coolest stuff that they possibly can on the big screen.
And with that Filoni movie, that might be like, I mean, I already the minute they said Filoni was getting a movie, I'm like, bro, this is gonna be crazy no matter what it is. But like with all this stuff that they're building up, and if we're gonna get the big climax fighting Thrawn on the big screen, Luke coming back, Boba Fett coming back, hopefully being Boba Fett,
Yeah,
and like all that stuff, all the Rebels live action on the big screen, getting to bro, I pray we get Chopper and R2 together on the big screen in a scene, whether they're fighting or they're just arguing
yeah,
with each other.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, but that movie is gonna have such high expectations, and I think Dave's gonna meet it.
I do too. I just, like, I got a question for you. Do you think that they're gonna bring Luke, Leia, and Han in on
Oh,
that movie?
I think if they do, it would be in the movie. It wouldn't be on TV because
Yeah,
like
no way.
'cause even if it's just for a scene, you know for a fact they will milk that will be in the trailer, that will be on the posters.
Yep,
Like, what's gonna get people in seats is if they say, "Oh, we get to see Luke, Han, and Leia together," because that's the one of the many things in the sequel trilogy that I was very, like, grinding my gears was we never got a shot with Luke, Han, and Leia together while they were all alive in
yep.
real life and in the movie. So if we get that moment where they're all together and it's like in the cockpit of the Falcon and Chewie's in the back and R2's there, bro, tears will be shed in that
Oh,
movie
yeah.
theater.
Oh, yeah,
Tears
big
will
time.
be shed.
Yeah, and it seems like Jon, Favreau and Dave have been doing this the entire time with The Mandalorian, is giving fans what we didn't see in the sequel trilogy, and the biggest one
Yeah,
is seeing those 3 characters together on screen. So I think if there's a place to do that, Dave's gotta do that in his movie, and I think it's like a no-brainer. Everybody complains about Luke Skywalker in the sequels, and they gave us the Luke Skywalker that we wanted in Mando season 2 and in the Book of Boba Fett.
yeah.
So I just don't see there being a world where they don't bring those 3 onto the same screen together.
And
But
no, go ahead.
my question for you is, are they gonna recast them or
Oh,
are they gonna deep fake them?
that's a really good question. If it's gonna be just like a short scene and not like a lot, I could see them just doing deep fake. But
Yeah,
like if they're gonna be in the movie and a bunch of scenes, they gotta recast, man. Like you could even just use the what's his name, Alden Ehrenreich from Solo. Like you could
yep.
just use him because we're already somewhat familiar.
Mhm.
Bro, Sebastian Stan, the Winter Freaking Soldier, looks like Luke, bro.
He
Like
looks exactly like
he
him.
looks just like Luke. Get him.
Yep,
And for young Carrie Fisher, like, bro, you could find somebody, or even just like out of respect, get her real daughter to do it.
yep.
Like how awesome would that be? We would enjoy that, respect that, but that's so tricky. But I guess it depends on how much they're used in the movie.
Yeah, my thing is with a recast, it only makes sense if you're gonna continue the characters a lot. If you're gonna give us, like, a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show
Ooh,
where you're gonna get to see young Ben Solo rising to power and Luke actually being a Jedi Master
yeah,
of his own Jedi Temple, then you're probably gonna wanna recast him so that you can keep them on screen without spending millions upon millions of dollars to do that with the deepfake. And it might not look great all the time, but with a regular actor, it will. But the issue I see with that is you got Alden, who I thought was a fantastic choice. I thought, like, of course, I love Harrison Ford, and there's no one who can beat him. But Alden, I like this. Do you like the Solo movie?
Yeah,
I like it.
I didn't mind it. It was fine. Like it
Yeah,
answered all the questions that I wanted because when I went into Solo, I wanted to see like how he got the Falcon, how he met Chewie, how he met Lando. It
yeah.
answered all that, and we got Maul. It was fine.
Yeah,
It was fine.
yeah. So I liked that movie as well, and I thought Alden did a great job because there's no real way to get around it. At some point, these characters, especially if you're going to do a movie like Solo, are gonna have to be recast.
Yeah.
However, up until this point, other than Solo, Solo's the only thing that did that with the recast.
Hmm.
Everything else, from Tarkin to Leia in Rogue One
Yeah.
to Luke in Mando and Boba Fett to Luke and Leia both in Rise of Skywalker to all these flashbacks, all these showing up in other projects when they were younger, like Leia in Rogue One. They've all been deepfaked.
Hmm.
So it seems like, at least in Disney's or Lucasfilm's mind, Solo was such a disaster, and it wasn't, but they think it is, that they're not going to do a recast anymore. And the fact that this deepfake has been so successful with the
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2's finale, with the Book of Boba Fett episode with Luke, with Hayden being deepfaked in Ahsoka, all that being so successful is just more to back the fact that they can do this deepfake. It looks realistic enough, and they can get away with it without having to recast. Because apparently, with Solo, that was the problem.
They're so out of touch with that because, like,
Yeah,
bro, the problem with Solo is the release date. It released after The Last Jedi. If you would have flipped that, it
yep,
would have been a different story.
completely different.
And like, I mean, if they want to do deepfake, it is what it is. It'll cost them more. As long as we get those characters and the story, I really don't care how it's done. I just want more of that story, man.
Yeah, I don't really know how good the deepfake is, but from what we've seen, like Book of Boba Fett with Luke was incredible. It
Yeah,
was so damn cool. Like, there's no instance when you're watching that where you're like, this isn't Luke.
yeah,
Even in Mando season 2, where it's not nearly as good, like you put the two next to each other, it's like night and day,
yeah.
and they're only a year apart. Um, you still feel that that's Luke. Like, you're never really taken out of it. Fast forward to 2 years after that, when we get Ahsoka with Hayden. Now Hayden's not being de-aged nearly as much as
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is, but he looks incredible. Like, you
So
feel
good.
like he's 20 years old again. It's wild.
Yeah, that's true. Like it only has gotten better from Mando to Book of Boba, and then Hayden in Ahsoka was day and night better than Hayden in Kenobi when they
Oh my
didn't
god,
de
yeah.
in the Attack of the Clones flashback. Like,
Yeah.
yes, like I mean, I still love that moment. He
Yeah.
did look old as shit. I didn't care though,
Yeah.
because it's like, bro, it's Hayden and Hugh and they're facing off. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
But
like you said about Solo, if Solo came out before Last Jedi, it would probably be more praised. If
yeah.
Kenobi came out after Ahsoka and we got to see Hayden really, really good in Ahsoka and then Hayden really, really bad in Kenobi, then that would have been a
Oh,
disaster.
it would have been so bad. It would yeah, man. Cause like and it's funny, in Kenobi, I was expecting what we got in Ahsoka. Like in Kenobi, I was ready for Clone Wars style flashbacks with
Yep.
them in their armor doing those missions. But
Yeah.
we got that in Ahsoka with Hayden and the young Ahsoka.
Yeah.
That's what I expected in Kenobi. We didn't get it. We got that one flashback, which was cool, but I wanted more like episode 5 of Ahsoka. Imagine seeing Hewan in his Clone Wars animated armor.
I know. It's like Dave Filoni, again, like I said, gives us all the stuff that we want and giving us Hayden in the Clone Wars armor and Ahsoka from the Clone Wars. But we missed out with Ewan. Like, Ewan is just as iconic as
Yep.
Hayden or as Anakin in the Clone Wars armor in the Clone Wars, and we didn't get to see that. I remember going into Kenobi, all the rumors about, or like speculation and people going crazy, like, we could see Rex in this, we could
Rex.
see
Yeah. Yeah.
Padme in this, we could see all these people, and of course, Clone Wars versions of Obi-Wan and Anakin, and that didn't
Yeah.
happen. We did get that cool flashback, but that was before even like Attack of the Clones. and they looked old as hell. So
Yeah. Hopefully hopefully Dave has something cooking where he wants to bring Hewan in for something, even if it's just a flashback in an episode of something. Cause like you even if there isn't Ahsoka season 2, she did plenty of stuff with Obi-Wan. There could be Clone Wars style flashbacks just to get Hewan in their armor so we could see a
yeah,
special moment, especially bro, imagine this. This is me being so selfish, but imagine in Ahsoka season 2, because we know they're on Peridia. We know the Mortis family arc stuff. There's Mortis stuff there.
yeah,
Imagine if she's with Sabine and she's like, "Man, I know that family. We ran into them on this mission." And imagine if she flashes back to a live action that Mortis arc episode where her, Kenobi, and Anakin crash on that planet and they meet the sister. Imagine if we got to see like a glimpse of that live action, how insane that would be.
that would be so cool. Here's the thing, like, Dave Filoni wanted to make Ahsoka so that anybody who's, like, never even seen Star Wars before could understand it, and I think
Yeah,
they did a very good job with that. But if you're gonna do that with Ahsoka season 2, you're gonna have to do a flashback of the Mortis arc because people like, that's a hard thing to understand.
it
What
is.
happened with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka in those 3 episodes or 4 episodes of the Clone Wars is crazy. So you're
Yeah,
gonna have to sort of maybe give us a live action version of that, which would be so damn cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, hopefully, because they're gonna have to explain like what Balin was doing standing on the statue of the three Mortis gods and why the sister's head was destroyed,
Yep.
and like the father was pointing to that flashing beacon, just like in that episode on Clone Wars.
What do you think's going on there? Do
I don't know.
do you think it's Abeloth?
I want it to be that so bad. Like, bro, if it's Abeloth and like say like she were to take over Shin's body or something, or what if this would be so crazy because we know that the Force Ghost of Anakin is on that planet. What if Abeloth took the visual presence of Padme and like Anakin saw that and had to deal with that with Ahsoka there, because that would affect Ahsoka too, because Ahsoka knows Padme
Yep.
too. So
That would be
imagine like
crazy.
something. I would love crazy stuff like that. I doubt it would happen, but I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
I
that's
don't
the
know, man.
that's the thing with Abeloth, she can really kinda just take the appearance of anybody. So if
Yeah,
she is trying to do that, where she's trying to get into the head of her opponent almost, and she knows that Anakin and Ahsoka are there, that would be insane. That
it
never
would
came
make
across
sense.
my mind.
Yeah,
But I've heard the theory of going into Shin's body, and that would make the most sense. I mean, you look
yeah,
at Shin, she's right behind you. She she looks she looks like Abeloth. She's got the white hair. Like, you don't really get a good look of Abeloth in Legends, really. It's too, like, creepy looking with the smile and stuff.
yeah,
But Shin kind of gives the look of Abeloth with the white hair. She's, of course, a girl. She's of course, a dark side user.
yeah.
It would be quite crazy. What do you think they're gonna do with Balin?
See, they like rest in peace to Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
He killed it. I've always liked him even before,
Yeah.
but like honestly, my favorite part of the Ahsoka show was Balin and Shin, and I was shocked that the new Disney Star Wars was able to create a characters that I was so intrigued with and I wanted to learn more of. Like they were so new but felt so old, and every time they came on screen, I wanted more. So with Balin, they got to recast him. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be hard to get used to at first, but if they get the right person, we just need that story. Like, bro, they're on Peridia. There's more to stuff. There's Zepho stuff. There's Dathomir stuff. Night Sisters. Like, there's so much going on there. They have to continue that, and I want to see Balin and Shin, like how they met, how they came to the point that we meet them in Ahsoka.
Yeah, Balin's such a cool character. I mean, Dave Filoni is I mean, at this point, probably known for creating such cool characters from the Clone Wars to the whole Rebels cast to now Ahsoka. Like Ahsoka, we went in and we were very excited to see
Yeah.
Ahsoka and Sabine and all these Rebels cast in live action. We didn't expect that the best two characters were going to be these brand new
Yes.
dark side using characters,
Yeah.
and it just came out of nowhere. And Balin, of course, due to Ray Stevenson's performance, was so damn cool and intriguing, and you want to learn more. And it really sucks that we can't do that unless there's a recast, obviously. Now, it seems like there's always the option of him just dying off. If he goes to like if Abeloth's really in prison or something, that's why
Yeah.
she's stuck there and is calling out to him. If he frees her and then she just kills him or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that would be I wouldn't like that at all. They set Balin up as such a cool character, and there's
Mhm.
so much more I think to his story. The craziest part about this is what Balin is saying when he's on Peridia. He's talking about how he doesn't want to go with Thrawn, even though Thrawn is probably the best bet. He's got an entire army of Night Sisters, and he's going back to the Empire, and he's going to have an army there.
Mhm.
And he's like, that's a fleeting power. He's like, it goes up and down all the time. But he seems to think whatever this glimmer of light is, whether it's Abeloth or not, is the end of that cycle and will
Yeah.
be power forever. So it seems like Balin should be an important character moving forward, and hopefully we get to see that if it's a recast or whatever it is. But it's such a tough thing. I hope it's Abeloth. If not, I mean, I can't imagine what else it could be that wouldn't be that powerful, but I don't know. It's gonna be very exciting. It's gonna be.
Yeah, it really is, and
Yeah.
I just can't wait. And, like, I don't think they would explore that in the movie. That probably like, to
Yeah.
me, I think the movie should be all the Thrawn stuff, and, like, I kinda want Ahsoka season 2 to come out after the movie,
Yeah.
because I kinda rather would not even have Ahsoka be in the movie. Like, there's already gonna be enough Avengers in this Endgame movie.
Yeah.
Like, let's let, like, the movie be buck wild with everybody. It ends, and I would love for the movie to end with them going to Peridia and trying to get Ahsoka, and then season 2 could just be all a bunch of crazy stuff they did while they were on there and stuff with, like, the Mortis arc and all that stuff, so
Yeah. It's a weird setup to leave Ahsoka and Hu Yang and Sabine on Peridia
yeah,
because it leaves them stranded there. Because Hezra and Thrawn were stranded there for almost 11 years or something like that.
yeah,
So it's gonna be like not as easy as it seems to get them back. And it doesn't seem like Ezra's sort of in a rush to get them back either. It seems, and it doesn't seem like Ahsoka's in any rush to get off the place. She does say that this is
yeah,
where they're supposed to be,
yeah, what
which
does that mean?
I don't know. But I agree with you. I think the movie should come out before season 2. I think the movie shouldn't involve Ahsoka at all. And I think that would just be like just as cool.
Yeah.
You have let me pitch this to you. Have you heard the speculation or the theories about a possible trilogy, a Mandoverse trilogy?
Oh, like, for, like, Dave's movie?
Yes, Dave
Yeah,
movie would be
it
the
sh
first of
bro,
3.
it should be, and it should be him doing George's version of the sequels, because
Yeah,
like, like, George's version was Luke fighting Maul and Darth Talon. Like,
yeah,
they could cook something up, like, if they resurrect Maul, resurrect Asajj, or
yeah,
have Shin with Maul. Oh, if we were to get Shin and Maul together, I would be so happy.
that'd be awesome. Yeah, so I think it'll probably be a combination of George's vision and probably the Heir to the Empire trilogy
Just
from
mixed.
Legends and just kinda mixed. I think if you were to get a trilogy, it would make so much more sense for just not only making money purposes, but also because like you got the ability to do a trilogy here. You got like 20, 25 years until the sequels start, and you
Yep.
have the time. You have the time, you have the villain with Thrawn, you have the characters, you can do all this stuff and not only set up the sequel trilogy better than it already is, because you need to sort of elevate the characters that
Yep.
eventually go into the sequels to make that better, but you're going to give an incredible story for people who don't like the sequel trilogy to see as their new sequel trilogy. And it would allow you to give us the original trio with Luke, Leia, and Han. It would allow you to give us the new characters of Din Djarin and Grogu and Boba Fett and all these people working together to fight against Thrawn as the heir to the Empire. But it also could be building up a brand new threat in the background with Abeloth,
Yeah.
and she could possibly be the threat not even in this era, but in the post-sequel world or something along those lines,
Yeah, yeah.
and it would just be so much cooler because you could tell so much more story. A one-off movie is just gonna end up being like Rogue One. Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars movies ever,
Yeah.
but it's really so good because it sets up the original trilogy, which is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
So, I think if Dave's movie is a one-off movie, it won't be nearly enough time to tell the story that he probably wants to tell. and getting a trilogy would just be insane. Like, what if the good guys just absolutely get annihilated by Thrawn in the first movie, and it's not Luke, Leia, and Han. It's just the New Republic. It's just Hera. It's just Zeb. It's just maybe Din Djarin and Grogu and Boba Fett fighting against Thrawn, and they're just no match. So then they lose badly, and the second movie is them going to go get Ahsoka back because they need her, and go get Luke, and go get Leia, and go get Han. And then the second movie is sort of the bringing together of the Avengers type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the third movie could even go into Luke's Jedi Temple and setting up the future of that, setting up Ben. Like, what if it was a trilogy, and the last scene of the trilogy is Luke looking at a young Ben Solo over there, and it just starts playing Kylo's theme. Like, how
Yeah.
sick would that be? Like,
So I agree with everything you're saying, and I wanted Filoni to get a trilogy because, like, if Filoni has a trilogy and they take their time and do it like how George did every 3 years, we don't need every year. Like,
no,
let it breathe. If Filoni had a trilogy and it was every 3 years, I know for the next 9 years I have something to look forward to every 3 years, and
yes,
that would make me happy knowing, okay, I got that for sure. That's going to be good. Everything could suck in between, but that I'm looking forward to that. And
yeah,
like I don't think one movie is enough time to beat Thrawn. You're gonna beat Thrawn in one movie in 2.5 hours.
yeah,
It's not enough. He's
no.
he's too badass.
It's the same complaint that fans had about Ahsoka. Is Thrawn it wasn't built up enough. He wasn't set up to be the villain that he should be in Ahsoka because there wasn't enough time to do so. If you're
Yeah.
only doing one movie, where even people who watch only Star Wars movies, like some normies only watch Star Wars movies. No, they don't even watch the Disney Plus shows.
Yep.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, this cool blue guy is pretty cool," and then he dies in the same movie. Like, that would just be stupid. You
Yeah.
want to extend the story so that you're telling the full story and not just speeding through the thing. I actually have a theory that all three movies that were announced this year at Star Wars Celebration, which, by the way, you were at, right?
Yes. Oh
That's
yes.
awesome. I've still never been to a Star Wars Celebration. I really want to go, but the next one's in Japan, which is right now seems very
I'm
unlikely.
going. I'm
Yeah,
going.
I have seen that. That's awesome. Um, I actually think that the three movies that were announced at Star Wars Celebration, with the Rey movie, the Mando movie, and Dawn of the Jedi, that all those movies are the beginnings of new trilogies. Because
Oh,
you're
okay.
not just gonna do one-off movies. The same reason that they're not gonna bring back Alden Ehrenreich and they're doing deepfakes is because Solo was a disaster in Disney's
Yeah.
eyes, and they don't want to do those spin-offs movies anymore. As successful as Rogue One was, Solo was just the opposite. And I
Yeah.
think it's a no-brainer to, of course, start a new era post sequels with a Rey trilogy or a maybe it's not even about Rey. Like, we talk about
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Rey
Yeah.
movie as it's a Rey movie. It might not be about Rey fully.
Yeah.
Um, but Dawn of the Jedi is my most anticipated thing. It's very far away, so it's not like I'm that excited for it right now, but I think it has the potential to be the most important thing. Going back to the beginning of the Force users, like the beginning of the Jedi, before there's even conflict between the Sith and the Jedi,
Yeah.
it would be so cool.
Yeah, that one has the greatest potential because there's no expectation, but the Ahsoka show did give us one expectation now because before Ahsoka, the James Mangold movie was supposed to be 25,000 years in the past.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure in Ahsoka they said that Hu Yang has been around 25,000 years.
Yeah.
So that means that we could see Hu Yang being built in that
Yeah.
movie, and he could be there from the beginning of the whole Jedi existence, which would be
Yeah.
mind blowing. But since Indy bombed, like, do you still think they're still gonna go with James Mangold in this movie?
I do. I actually
Yeah.
do. I think it's the same reason that we will eventually, and maybe not anytime soon, but we will eventually see a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie. I'm
Oh
sure
God.
I'm sure you yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Taika, don't get me wrong, but I think he is still working on this movie. I think he is doing other projects. He did this soccer movie recently. He's doing another movie that's coming out next year.
Hmm.
Um, he's doing a lot of other projects, but I think eventually, further down the line, we will see Taika's movie. I think, and it might be Disney actually being smart about something. Um, I think they are trying to just let fans sort of forget about Thor: Love and Thunder and just give it some space so that fans will eventually remember that Taika did helped out with Mando season 1. He's the voice of IG-11.
Yeah.
He did Thor Ragnarok still. Like, he
Yeah.
is still a pretty good creator if he has sort of somebody, if he's on a leash with somebody else talking in his ear. Like, he got to do whatever he wanted with Thor Love and Thunder, and that turned into a disaster. But
Yep.
when he has to do something with Thor Ragnarok, which is set up Infinity War,
Yeah.
um, and Kevin Feige's in his ear, then he creates a masterpiece. When he's working on Mando, his 2 episodes of Mando season 1 are extremely good. Him as IG-11 is really, really good. And he got to work on Mando with John and Dave, having the 2 best influences in the Star Wars galaxy
Yeah.
behind him. And of course, Dave's new position. Dave would be involved in that Taika movie. But connecting this to James Mangold, I think they are going to sort of let it breathe. I don't think a lot of the hate for Indy 5 got thrown on Mangold. I think it got thrown on Kathleen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You're
I
right.
still think James is an incredible filmmaker. One of my favorite movies, like, ever that's not Star Wars is Ford versus Ferrari. And
Mm.
he directs that, and that's a really, really good movie. He has a very good track record. He's a
Logan is
yes,
insane.
Logan is absolutely insane. So he's got a very good track record, and he's a really good director. It's just recency bias of
Mm.
Indiana Jones 5, but that's not really his fault. I still haven't seen Indiana Jones 5, and from what my chat tell I know. From what my chat tells me, some of them are like, "This movie sucks," or some of them are like, it's not that bad. But it's kind of what the expectations you go in with, I guess, and I haven't really heard anybody say from a director's standpoint, this movie sucks. It's
Yeah.
more just like the story or what's going on behind the scenes with them trying to push agendas or whatever it may be. It never seems to be the directing of this movie sucks. And that's really what James Mangold was there to do.
Yeah.
So I still think you'll see him do Dawn of the Jedi. I just think it'll be, of course, the last movie. I think you're going to get Rey movie first, Mando movie next, and then Mangold's movie, and that won't be for at least 3 years. So I think that'll be enough time for people to sort of remember that he did Logan, he did Ford versus Ferrari, and yes, maybe he did Indiana Jones 5, but that's not what he's going to live off of, you know?
And like I never thought of it like that. Like this is really 3 trilogies and they're just being secretive. Cause like if that was the case, and because if they did a movie a year, by the time we got to the second movie of each trilogy, it would be a
It would
3-year
be
gap.
3
So
years.
literally that would be 9 years worth of movie, which seems like it's a lot, but you're each movie's having, the 2, 3 years to be developed.
Yep.
That might actually be a smart thing, and they haven't been doing a lot of smart things lately over there.
No.
So, damn, I never thought of it like that. Well, except like this Ray movie, like we just what the hell is it about? Is it a Ray movie? Is she just in it and it's about new characters and she happens to be the old person in the background?
Yeah, I really don't know. It seems like it's gonna be about Rey. She's definitely gonna be a main character in it. It's her 15 years. I think it maybe at one point she wasn't the main character with like Damon Lindelof's version where it's gonna be
So
further down the line.
the week before Celebration, they got rid of Damon Lindelof because his version was a 60-year-old Ray.
Yeah,
And I guess the week before they said they're going a different way, they let him go. Because I remember when I went to Celebration, I'm like, "What are they gonna talk about at the panel? They just cut this guy."
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, Daisy really walks out in front of us, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's
yeah,
that's where the way they're going."
yeah.
So, yeah, it was supposed to be old Ray, which I
Y
probably would have liked that better.
I would too, because then she wouldn't really be your main character. She'd sort of be like a she did this, she killed Palpatine at one point, and it would kinda be like a legend type thing.
Yeah.
And you get a brand new cast of Jedi and a new Jedi Order that you could fall in love with, and maybe the new characters would be really, really cool, and you'd set up a new saga and stuff like that. Now, with it only being 15 years later, with Rey only being 15 years older, and she's probably gonna be the main character, I don't know what to expect. It all depends upon whether or not John Boyega's involved, whether or not, uh it has a good villain. Like, the villain is probably gonna be the biggest key because we know absolutely nothing about this movie except for the fact that Rey's involved.
Yeah, and with that, with it being Daisy, now it's like people already have expectations because now for me, okay, Daisy's in it. I want John Boyega to come back as a Jedi. He needs a redemption. And I want them to bring Ben Solo back from the dead from somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And if none of that happens, there's going to be people left disappointed because there's a lot of people that want John Boyega as a Jedi. There's a lot of people that want Ben Solo back, and if those don't happen, they're automatically going to hate the movie.
Yeah, it just seems like it's such a weird thing to do this movie first. The Mando movie seems like a guaranteed win.
Home
You
run.
got Dave Filoni behind it. You got the characters that fans absolutely love coming to the big screen for the first time ever. And it seems like an easy no-brainer. The Rey movie coming out first just seems so dumb that it just doesn't make any sense at all. And there must be something that they're not telling us because it just makes no sense. It really makes no sense. I really don't know. And like you said, John Boyega needs to be redeemed. Ben Solo probably needs to come back because a lot of fans won't even go see the movie if that's not the case.
Yeah.
Like you see everybody talking about it online. They're like, I'm not going to see this movie. And the only way they're going to make a ton of money would be in the second weekend where fans who saw it the first weekend are like, no, this is actually really good. And then they'll
Yeah.
go see it. So it's probably not going to make a lot of money in its first weekend just because it's coming off the backs of the sequel trilogy and it's a sequel trilogy movie.
Do you think they're gonna try to? Because like it's they said that has a new Jedi Order, a new Jedi Academy. Do you think they're gonna try to throw Grogu in there and have Grogu be one of her students, older Grogu?
I don't know because there's a lot of Jedi who could be alive at that time. Ezra could be alive.
Jason.
Jason could be alive. Ahsoka could be alive. Maybe an older Cal Kestis. Like, there's a ton of Jedi who could be involved, and Grogu, of course, being the biggest one. He's a guy who could live another 900 years and
Yeah.
be very important to the future of the Jedi Order. I really don't know. Again, a lot of what's riding on the Rey movie is probably the first trailer, which will probably drop it in Japan at Stellar
I
Celebration.
I think it will, because 'cause aren't they
Yeah,
gonna start filming this year allegedly around, like, April or something? So,
yeah,
Celebration Japan is April 18th, 2025. That would be where we would get the first trailer, 100%.
yeah. So a lot depends on that trailer. Think about the Force Awakens trailer, how exciting that was.
So good.
Like, it's so damn actually, me and Diamond Figs Will, we did a tier list of Star
Yes.
Wars trailers,
Yeah.
and the sequel trilogy trailers were at the tops of the list because they are so damn good.
So good.
It's like if the trailers were the movies, then that we'd be having completely different conversations.
Yeah.
But the Force Awakens trailer in particular, of course, most iconic one is probably Chewie, "We're home."
Oh my god, goosebumps every time.
Literally, goosebumps just saying it. If we get something like that for the Rey movie, if John Boyega's in the trailer, or they at least allude to him being in the trailer, or the same thing with Adam Driver, you, like, hear Kylo's theme or something in the trailer,
Yeah.
then that will kinda stir up the pot and get people excited. If the trailer also sets up a villain, if the trailer sets up new characters, all this stuff, speculation, that's where
Mhm.
the fandom needs to be at with going into the Rey movie. Because right now, all talk is this movie's gonna suck, and we don't
Yeah.
wanna see it. But if the trailer's really, really good, then the conversation might flip. It might.
Yeah, I know. I mean, only time will tell. I know in April, if it starts filming in April, there's going to be stuff leaking out. So we're going to be
Oh,
eating
yeah.
good on rumors like May, June, July, and stuff. So,
This year for Star Wars is gonna be a big, big year. You got 4 shows, you got
yep.
filming of movies. There's gonna be a ton of news.
2 games are coming out this
2
year.
games, yep.
Yeah. So,
What do
what,
you think about Star Wars Outlaw? Not to cut you off.
so like, at first, I kind of was like, I thought it was going to be this open world game where you could do anything and be anybody, but then I saw it's no, you can only be this one character. You can't customize them. I'm
Yep.
like, all right, whatever. I mean, I really don't care that I'm playing as a girl, but then she's just like a outlaw, a criminal. She doesn't have the force, no lightsaber. So I'm like, I like lightsabers in my Star Wars games. I like cutting up stormtroopers and rancors and
Yeah.
droids. But the thing that intrigues me about the game is the GTA style system of like the 5 stars and like the
Yeah.
empires trying to get you. So like a lot of people are hating on the game, but like it could be like GTA because you could just play GTA and not do no mission, kill a bunch of people and just run from the cops and have a blast.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that, but on a Star Wars take where you're
Yeah.
just blasting, stealing a bunch of stuff, killing a bunch of people, whatever. You're on a speeder, you got scout troopers chasing you, TIE fighters chasing you. It could be a sleeper, and it's between episode 5 and 6, which is a crazy time period.
Yep.
It has potential.
Yeah, and like you were saying, we're getting Star Wars GTA before GTA 6.
Yeah.
No. So what you were saying too is the time period of this game is kinda what makes it the coolest. Now,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I wish we were using the Force. I wish we had lightsabers. You get a lot of that in Jedi games, Jedi Fallen Order,
Survivor.
Survivor,
Yeah.
and I absolutely love those games, and I can't wait for the 3rd one, but this game is a little bit different because of the time period. In between episode 5 and 6, going back to our earlier conversation, could involve characters like Kira in the Crimson Dawn, like
Yeah.
we know already that Jabba the Hutt's gonna be a character that you can take bounties from and you can have a relationship with, and the underworld of Star Wars is such a unique thing
Ooh.
from the Clone Wars, from Rebels, that's not shown in the movies really,
Yeah.
and going back to what we were talking about with George Lucas's original vision for the sequel trilogy, that was completely like the underworld. Like Maul was supposed to take over the underworld first, rise to power.
Yeah.
We might be seeing a little bit of that. A lot of Star Wars comics take place in the underworld, from like Dr. Aphra to the War of the Bounty Hunters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we could actually see a lot of very familiar faces, from Boba to Kira, the Crimson Dawn, the Pikes, Jabba the Hutt. We could see so many familiar faces. Like, spoiler alert, you see Boba Fett in Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
So we could be seeing a lot of very cool stuff with that, while also being in the world of Star Wars, like GTA, where you can go do whatever you want, whenever
Yeah.
you want, open world. It sounds very, very cool. I think a lot of fans were upset that it was an uncustomizable character
Yeah. Yep.
and stuff like that, but so is Cal Kestis. Like, so
Yeah.
it's just because, of course, she doesn't have a lightsaber and doesn't have the Force, that's a little bit different, but I'm excited for the time period of it because that's a cool time in Star Wars.
No, it is, and even in the trailer, we see Han Solo frozen in carbonite in the trailer. That
Yes.
that means maybe we'll see Boba Fett bringing Han to Jabba for the first time. Maybe we'll see Leia sneaking in as Bosch Leia or
Yeah.
something at some point. And I like the fact that it said that you can take missions from Jabba and you could choose to complete them or turn against them, because I know right away I'm gonna take a mission and I'm gonna not complete it. I'm gonna turn on Jabba and I want to see what happens if he tries to get me. And if I could kill Jabba the Hutt, I will. I'm gonna see.
Yeah, you can play through it a million different times and have a different outcome, which is really, really cool because you can have a different relationship with Jabba or any other character.
Yeah.
And the cool part is we could see weird characters like a Moff Gideon. Because Moff
Oh.
Gideon is in Mando, but
Yeah.
he worked his whole life for the Empire, and you never see him, of course, during the original trilogy because the character didn't exist, or during
Yeah.
Rebels because the character didn't exist. But you could see him in this game. Like, you could see similar people like that. Like, going back to the Shadow Council meeting, all those people in that room could make, like, a cameo appearance or something in
They
this
could.
game.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, he's in every freaking video game at this point, but Vader could show up at some point. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't fight him one-on-one because that would be a disaster. If this character makes it out alive versus Vader, we would have a lot of angry Star Wars fans on our hands.
Yeah.
But at any point, the Empire can show up with a massive fleet, and you're gonna have to escape that. And
Yeah.
that's really, really cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Out of the four potential shows we might get this year, what are you looking forward to the most?
That's a good question. If you asked me this like a month ago, I would have said Skeleton Crew because I
Mhm.
thought Skeleton Crew would be the next thing. Now, there's some conflicting reports on where Skeleton Crew is going to release, and
Yup.
Acolyte is so intriguing because of just the Sith, obviously.
Yeah.
Sith and Jedi is what Star Wars kind of is, and I know a lot of fans don't like when people say that, but it is. And
Yep.
um, a Sith-centered show, just purely based off of that, sounds incredible.
Yeah.
So, and it's going back to the High Republic, which we haven't really seen at all, unless you've read the books or you've watched, I guess, Young Jedi Adventure. Um, and that's really cool. You could get the possibility of seeing Plagueis, which sounds incredible,
Plagueis
and
or
the
Tenebrous.
yeah, and the cast sounds it's loaded. Like,
Yeah.
it's the guy from Squid Games, it's the girl from Logan, the girl
Yeah,
who plays
yeah.
yeah, and more. It's there's a few things that kind of deter me from it. Leslie Headland
Her
is
comments.
definitely one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
But just the fact that it's a Sith-centered show where there can be a ton of Jedi and a ton of Sith. Did you see the trailer at Star Wars Celebration?
I might have the illegal, version of it on my phone right now, but so that trailer for Acolyte that we saw at Celebration had me just as hype as the Ahsoka trailer that got revealed at Celebration. It was the same.
Really?
It was the same level of like, wow, I'm looking forward to it. And it's funny you mentioned Leslie Headland's comment. So like that came out after, but at the panel we were at, she came out and like, dare I say this, the vibe she gave me, she sounded like a female Filoni. Now, that was just from that panel,
Mhm.
and it was just in there, and this was before everything else came out or whatever. But like the vibe she was giving me was like she's an OG and she like grew up on it. She appreciates the lore and like she would handle it with care, like Filoni. That's the vibe she gave me. Not saying that's what she'll deliver, but like I felt good about it. Now her comments, I'm like, come on. But like at the
Yeah.
end of the day, those are old ass comments.
Yep.
People say stuff, they can have their opinions, but as long as she respects what George wants and his vision and stays true to that, which I think she did. The trailer, have you seen the illegal trailer on YouTube?
I have, yeah. It's very
Bro.
grainy though, so
Oh, I okay. But
but yeah, no, I've seen the I mean, it's like a lineup of Jedi and they all bring out their lightsabers, and that alone just gets you ridiculously
yes.
excited.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure you have a better feel on it because you saw it in person, but also, Leslie Headland in person, and that's actually very crazy that you say that she's like a Dave Filoni type person. Because we don't all I know of this lady is the comments that I heard her make 5, 6 years ago.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
really
yeah.
know much of anything about her.
Yep.
So I hold out hope that she is something like that. I do hold out hope that all these creators are gonna be like Dave Filoni
Yeah.
and handle Star Wars with care. So that is actually very reassuring. So you saw the Acolyte trailer. Did you see the Skeleton Crew trailer?
Yes, and bro, I completely forget what happened in the trailer. Like,
Really?
I remember it being, "Okay, this looks cool," but, like, I don't really remember much. I remember a bunch of little kids, and it looked like they were skipping school, and it looked like they stole a ship, and then they're running around in space. Like, I'm sure there's a leaked version on the trailer. That's why I can't wait till it comes out because I'm gonna react to it.
Yeah.
Because I basically forgot it. I just remember afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay, that looks okay. That looks fun. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like anything mind blowing. Like the Acolyte trailer, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Skeleton Crew, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I like John Watts. I like his Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a chance. It's John Watts and John Fav. Like, come on, it should be fine. But I'm not like hyped or excited for it. And like you mentioned before, like originally it was gonna drop last year in November. Then allegedly it was gonna be the first drop this year, January, February, maybe. Now it's pushed back to the end of the year. Like, bro, what?
It seems a little strange too, because Skeleton Crew filmed at the same time as Ahsoka.
Yeah,
And Ahsoka we've already seen and watched, and it came and went months ago, and Skeleton Crew
yeah,
we're still waiting for and possibly could be waiting for like a whole another 8, 9 months, which
yeah,
is strange. The reason I am looking forward to Skeleton Crew though, more than a lot of other things, is the mystery behind it. We don't know it's like the Rey movie, we don't know anything about it except
yeah.
for the fact that Jude Law is gonna be in it. There's, some kids, they escape, they're going on an adventure, whatever.
Mm,
The mystery behind it is really cool because you think back to, like, Mando season 1, the mystery behind that show,
yeah.
we didn't even know Grogu was gonna be in it, and he's the freaking main character of the whole damn thing. So that's what gets me excited because when you got John Watts, you got Jon Favreau, you got Dave Filoni attached, those names attached to this project, something big is happening back there.
One thing though that kind of, I don't want to say got spoiled, because before we saw the trailer, there was rumors that Ahsoka might pop up in the show.
Yeah,
There were rumors that the show takes place in that different galaxy,
yeah.
not even our galaxy. But the pirate from Mando season 3, Bane or Vane, whatever that dude's name is,
Vane, yeah.
he's in the trailer.
Oh, he's in the
So
trailer.
yeah, so off rip, like it's like, okay, if he's in the trailer, they have to be in our galaxy. There's no way that this
Yeah,
pirate dude can make it out to a separate galaxy like
no.
by himself. So it should take place in the regular galaxy. That pirate dude's in it, and that's all that we know. So like I don't know. I just hope it's good. I hope it's a good story and they don't force throwing like Boba Fett in there or someone in there just to get people to watch it because they made a cameo. Like I want it just to be like a fun Stranger Things vibe story.
Yeah, I think honestly, Skeleton Crew, when they talked about Dave Filoni's movie, they said it's gonna be a combination of the Mandoverse shows, and when they mentioned the Mandoverse shows, they said Mando, they said Ahsoka, they said Book of Boba Fett, and they said Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, yep.
So there's something important going on with this story, and of course, we just talked about how Thrawn wasn't really used in Ahsoka as well as he should have been, and we think in Mando season 4, he's gonna be really, really powerful and showing his real strength. Maybe we could get some glimpses of that in Skeleton Crew as well.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be really cool. My crazy theory that I've been saying since literally the announcement that Skeleton Crew was coming out and that it would be in the Mandoverse is Skeleton Crew is going to be the time where we see Cal Kestis come into live action. And it's like my craziest theory I've ever made. And honestly, the closer and closer we get, the less and less likely I think that is. But with
Uh-huh.
a show like Skeleton Crew, where there's not many people involved that we know, like Ahsoka's probably not going to show up. Thrawn maybe will show up, but like you said, it's not going to be a cameo fest.
Yeah.
I think it might be the perfect situation to bring Cal Kestis into live action because Cal's a Jedi.
Yeah.
We know Jude Law's character is supposed to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
We've never seen Jude Law's character before. Maybe he at some point maybe went on Tantalore or came into contact with Cal or something like that, and they're friends or
Yeah.
something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be interesting for sure. And like with Jude Law's character, I don't know if it was confirmed somewhere that he's a Order 66 survivor. I mean,
Yeah.
he kind of has to be. If you're a Jedi in this
Yeah.
time period, you had to have survived it. So I'm wondering if the show's going to open up, or at some point, if we're going to get another Order 66 flashback. Which I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
It never gets old.
No.
And like in this flashback, are we going to see more stuff with Grogu? Because like you talked about it earlier,
Yeah.
like Grogu eventually gets kidnapped by pirates. There is a pirate in the show. It's called
Yep.
Skeleton Crew. Is that gonna like connect? Was it like Bane's crew back in the day that
Ooh.
stole Grogu?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be actually kinda cool because we know that Grogu goes off with Keller and Beck, but we assume that Keller and Beck is either dead or he loses Grogu at some point.
Yeah,
What if Jude Law's character is the next person that kinda gets Grogu and then loses
yeah,
him to the pirates or something? Yeah, that would be actually kinda cool. That'd be really
yeah.
cool.
But yeah, Skeleton Crew, like I'm sure it'll be fine. The one I'm looking forward to the most though, out of everything, like, is Tales of the Jedi season 2, man. The
Yep.
first season of Tales caught me off guard, and
Yeah.
I was at Anaheim Celebration 2022, and there was a Tales of the Jedi panel before it came out, and
Oh, yeah?
I didn't go to it because 'cause I'm like, "I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna waste time at this panel. It could
Yeah.
be something dumb."
Yeah.
And in that panel, they showed the first episode. They got to see it there months early with
Ooh.
Dave. Dave is in there watching the first episode with them, and
Wow.
I regret not going
Damn.
because I could have saw it early. But watching Tales of the Jedi, all 6 episodes at once, it was so amazing. Just that Dooku stuff, adding more lore to Attack of the Clones and the time period before Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, knowing that's what happened to Yaddle, that's
Yep.
who erased the archives, was just beautiful. And with Tales of the Jedi season 2, I have high expectations. It's going to be just as good. I
Yeah.
just kind of hope that part of it is Balin and Shin would be amazing.
It would be something special. It would. It really
Yeah.
would. Um, so I know you're a massive, massive Andor fan.
Oh Lord, no. I like Bix and B2. That's it.
There you go. Um, so yeah, massive Andor fan. And yeah, so Tales came out during Andor.
Which
So
made it worse for me because, like, I'm watching Andor trying to stay awake, and then I see Dooku kill Yaddle. Bro, it's like it's one or the other. It's cereal eating cereal or Dooku fighting Yaddle. It was like a no-brainer.
Serial or whatever the hell his name is might be the worst character ever. Like all he did in that first season was eat cereal, and then we were supposed to care in the finale when he like saved. I don't even remember her name. Like that's.
Oh, I forgot her name. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Andor is such a weird thing to me. I enjoyed it, but
Mhm.
it seems like with Andor, it's like you really, 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 really loved it or you hated it,
Yep, yep, yep.
and it seems like there's really no in between. I feel like I'm a little bit in between. I enjoyed watching it. It looks visually good. I just think the story is so unnecessary. I think like it being 12 episodes, it getting all that budget and these
Oh,
other shows aren't, it seems very just stupid. But
yep.
characters like Luthen I see are really cool.
Yeah.
Even, of course, Bix. Um, but yeah, then you have cereal, eating cereal with his mom.
Yeah, getting
What is
smacked by
that?
his mom.
Like,
What?
what is that? What is the point of that? Now, I do hope that Andor season 2 is a lot more fast paced. It's gonna cover more time, and it could involve more people, like maybe seeing Krennic, some more of the Empire, less of Andor. Um,
We at
it
Celebration in London, they showed us Andor season 2 trailer.
really,
It looks, bro, they showed us everything. They showed us Ahsoka, Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch season 3, and Andor. We saw all that, man.
I knew you saw the other ones, but I did not know you saw an Andor. Andor, really?
So
What
it
was it?
looks good. And I'm not a
Really?
fan of Andor, but I'm actually looking forward to season 2 because it looks action packed, dark, gritty, like it's gonna keep me awake. So
That's cool.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But we did get the trailer for it.
Andor's such a weird thing because it's the same creators, or some of the same creators as Rogue One.
And
It's
Rogue
the
One was a
same
banger.
Yeah, it's the same characters or same main character as
Yeah.
Rogue One, and it's gonna lead into Rogue One in season 2. So it's like, there's something missing, and maybe the something missing is, like, Vader or, like, the Death Star being this big thing, or the fact that it connects to the original trilogy or whatever it
Yeah.
is, but I do have hope for season 2. Um, I was gonna say something about oh, yeah, so when Tales came out during Andor, it was like a yin and a yang thing. Andor
Yep.
was getting crapped on for not having the Force, not having lightsabers, and people were like, "Oh, that's not what Star Wars is." And then at the exact same time, you got Tales, which is a freaking masterpiece, and it's like 10
Yeah.
minutes an episode. The amount of storytelling in those 10-minute
Yes.
episodes is insane, and it proves that you don't need an hour-long episode
No.
of Andor to tell a story like that. So,
Yeah.
um I'm very excited for Tales season 2. So other than Balin and possibly Shin, who do you think they're gonna go to for season 2?
I have no idea. Like the selfish part of me wants it to be Emperor and Maul, showing him kidnap Maul and train Maul getting older. But realistically, that probably won't happen. I would love something like a Quinlan and Asajj. That would be dope.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be dope. Or who is it? Plo Koon, I'm thinking of, because there were people had theories that Balin's master was
Was Plo
potentially
Koon?
was Plo Koon. So
Yeah,
imagine if we seen like Plo Koon and a young Balin
that would be
apprentice
cool.
tales. That could be something really sick.
That would be really cool. And actually going back to your Asajj Ventress thing, Ventress dies
The books, I
in the
believe.
canon novel. I forget what the novel's name is.
Is it Dark Disciple? Because
Yeah,
she's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have the book. I haven't read it, but I know that I guess she sacrifices herself to save
Yes.
Quinlan, and Dooku kills her.
Yes. Imagine how cool that would be to see in a
Oh my
Tales episode. That would be so cool. Because Asajj Ventress is a main or the main villain in the Clone Wars movie and in a bunch of the Clone Wars episodes, and
Yes.
she just disappears. Like,
Yes.
she's not in season 7, she's not really in season 6 either, and she's not involved all that much in the later episodes or later seasons.
Yeah.
But seeing her story be sort of wrapped up in a Tales episode and
Yes.
also give us more Quinlan would be so cool. The
Bro.
thing the thing with Tales, though,
Uh-huh.
is, like you said, Maul and Palpatine, that would be amazing, but it would have to be a Tales of the Sith because it's obviously Tales of the Jedi.
Oh,
Um,
you're right, yeah, technically, because Dooku was a Jedi, so it is a Tale of the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jedi, yeah.
So, honestly, why not do a Tales of the Sith? Like, you could do a Tales of the Sith, a Tales of the Bounty Hunter. Actually, what made me think of this was I just saw that they released, what are they called? I got one of them right behind me. Oh, Secrets of the Jedi, Secrets of the Sith, like these
Uh-huh.
books right here.
Yeah.
Um, these things. They just released
Yeah.
a Secrets of the Wookiees,
Oh.
and they released the Secrets of the Bounty Hunters. I'm like, why are you going so specific with these? If they're doing Tales of the Jedi, are they gonna do Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Bounty Hunter,
They
Tales of the
should,
like,
man.
they should. Why not? If Tales of the Jedi is really the big success that it was, and it's gonna be even bigger in season 2, they
Mhm.
might actually think about doing that with with the Sith and bounty hunters, because there's so many characters that you can do that with. Seeing Palpatine go get Maul, all the like seeing Plagueis and Palpatine killing Plagueis would be really, really cool. And even with bounty hunters, seeing Jango Fett in his story
Sh
would be
wasn't
incredible.
wasn't Django trained by, like, Cad Bane? 'Cause didn't
Uh,
Cad Bane say that to Boba, like, when he tried to face off Boba,
yeah,
that I trained your father or whatever,
yeah,
and
he like worked with or trained, I guess, with his
something
father.
like
Yeah,
that, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That would be really, really cool too. Well,
Yeah,
you bring up Cad Bane. Cad Bane is one of my top favorite bounty hunters ever.
yeah.
Do you think he survived Boba Fett?
Oh, 100%, 'cause, like,
Yeah,
you're not gonna make you're not yo, so Cad Bane is so slept on. This dude went toe to toe with Kenobi, with Anakin in Clone Wars, and he won a majority of the times. This dude was out there kidnapping younglings for palps. There's so much with Cad Bane. He's so slept on. I remember, like, that moment in it was no, Book of Boba. In Book of Boba, when he's outside the saloon and you see the distance, somebody walking, and I'm like, "Who's that?" And then it gets a little closer and you see the hat, and
yeah,
I was like, "No,
yeah,
Cad Bane." I was so happy they did that, but
yeah,
if if they brought Cad Bane in just for an episode and a half, biggest waste, like, I feel like that button is gonna, like, bring Toto 360 over to revive him or bring him back to the ship, like, there's no way he's dead. Because
yeah.
how badass would it be if in that Mando movie, it opens up and Thrawn's on Dathomir and Cad Bane is right there? Because Thrawn would recruit Cad Bane because he could
Yep.
deal with Jedi.
It would be like in Empire Strikes Back when Vader's talking to the lineup of bounty hunters, and it would be like Thrawn with his lineup of bounty hunters, and Cad
Yeah,
Bane's one of them, and they would be like,
yeah,
"What? He survived? That would be sick."
yeah,
Um, yeah, Cad Bane is such a cool character and too cool of a character to be killed off in 1.5 episodes.
yeah.
I wish he was more involved in Book of Boba Fett, honestly, because if they introduced him in like episode 2, and then you had
Oh,
like the whole cliffhanger of waiting for Cad Bane to show up, that would have been incredible. But
yeah.
yeah, you're right. When he shows up to um, what the hell's his name?
Oh,
Cobb Vanth. Cobb
Cobb
Vanth.
Vanth, yeah.
When he shows up to Cobb Vanth's town and he just walks in slowly, and the name of the episode is "From the Desert Comes a Stranger,"
Yes.
and the whole episode is about Luke training Grogu, and you're like, why is this episode called "From the Desert Comes a Stranger," and then the last scene is him coming in and killing
Yes.
Cobb Vanth. You're like, holy shit.
Yes.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, so good, man.
It's so
And
good.
they use the same voice actor too, I believe.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
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 Cobb Vanth. Ah,
It's
man.
so good. So good.
Yeah, we need more Cobb Vanth, man. Like, and like how
Yeah.
you were mentioning before about Tales, they need to do Tales of everything. Tales of the Clone Trooper, Tales of the Droid, Tales
Yeah.
of the Sith.
Yeah.
With Asajj though, they could get away with doing her as Tales of the Jedi because she was a Jedi twice, like
Yes.
two of her masters. So that'd be kind of cool to see that,
Yeah.
like
She'd be a lot
seeing
like
her
Dooku.
losing. Yeah, it would be just
Yeah.
like Dooku. So, but yeah, if they're smart, they'll milk that, and every year on May the 4th, give us a different Tales.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So what do you think's gonna come out first next year? Wait, before you well, you can answer that. Just which one do you think?
So for this, I don't know anymore. I don't know because it's like bro. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I feel like Skeleton Crew is done, but maybe they're changing it. That's why it's
yeah,
later. And then I know Acolyte is done, and Tails is probably done. Bad Batch should be done too because a month ago I think one of the persons said they finished doing the
yep.
final editing, recording, or whatever. I think they need to start off with a bang and maybe Tails or Bad Batch because we know there should be some really, really good lore stuff in there that'll make us happy. I feel like one of the animated projects will be first to be
So,
safe.
yeah, I agree. I think they might alternate, go
Yep.
animated live
Yeah.
action. Um, so we talked about all the trailers that you've seen at Star Wars Celebration except for the Bad Batch. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that leaked anywhere or
Oh,
anything. What was that trailer like?
dark, gritty. Looks like everyone's dying.
Oh,
You see Omega in the prison talking to to Crosshair, and Crosshair's like, "Leave me alone, don't talk to me." He's all grumpy. You see Wolf in the trailer. Spoilers: Wolf is in Bad Batch season 3.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think what else. I just remembered it looked like, wow, everyone's gonna die. This is gonna be dark and
Is Captain
really
Rex in
good.
the trailer?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
He probably was,
I mean, if there's
es
Wolf,
especially if
like,
Wolf is in
yeah.
it. But yeah, that's all that I remember. And yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't leaked, but we got to see it. They were like, "Yeah, we don't have much done, but we're gonna show you a little bit, bro." It was like a full trailer. They showed us so much. It
That's
looks
awesome.
it looks like it's gonna be epic and like everyone's gonna die.
Yeah. Well, because that actually Star Wars Celebration was, like, right after Bad Batch Season 2 ended.
Yep.
So, when they were probably like, "Oh, we don't have a lot done," it's because they might not have had a lot done, but they probably just ended the last season, so they weren't like, "Don't expect this anytime soon."
Yeah.
Um, but Bad Batch Season 3 is such, like, a question mark for me because I liked Bad Batch Season 1, I liked Bad Batch Season 2, and I'm
Yep.
looking forward to Season 3. It is the last season,
That's
and
weird.
none of these characters survive. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe they do, but they're not in any other stories further down the line.
So I was talking, and like either Vader has to come in and just slaughter the whole Bad Batch,
Yep,
which that would be a crazy messed up, but I would kind of love it if the
I would
villain
love it.
won.
Yep.
Or they need to set it up where Cody comes back and he saves some like Crosshair and Omega and they escape, and Cody and Rex like meet up and link up together, and we get the next show is a Cody and Rex spinoff where they're showing what happens with the clones and they're off hiding from the Empire, saving clones, doing this, that. How sick would that be? A Cody and Rex show, animated
That'd be
show.
that'd be incredible because Cody's in that one episode of Bad Batch Season 2,
Yeah.
and they say that he goes AWOL.
AWOL. Yeah. Where's he
Like,
at?
where's he at, or is he dead, or whatever? But yeah, I agree because if this is the last season, they have to either set up the next animated show or like at least announce the next animated show, whatever it may be. A Rex and Cody show would be so cool. That would sound so cool, and you have the time to do it. The Bad
Yeah.
Batch is right after Order 66,
Yeah.
immediately right after. So you
Yeah.
have so many years until even Jedi Fallen Order or even Obi-Wan Kenobi show or like of course Andor and Rebels, which is way further down. But Kenobi's 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you still got 10 more years to tell a story in animation, even though the Bad Batch is ending. So if that was a Cody and Rex show, sign me up. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I hope they announce something because like if the Bad Batch ends and that's the last of this Clone War style animation that we love, because like it's just so good and they could do so much with it. Like
So much.
I hope they announce this is the next thing, whether it's Cody like a clone show or even if it's more of Omega story, because she is, bro, she's the sister of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like, even if they did something with her annoying ass, like, let her get older.
Yeah.
I feel we need to see Omega and Boba meet, brother and sister.
Yes. 100%. And I remember this was so long ago. There was rumors before even season 2 maybe even was announced. I don't really remember, but there was rumors of Omega getting her own spin-off show like further down the line where she's a bounty hunter.
Oh, that would
And
be
sh
sick.
and it was like she would be wearing and this was a crazy rumor that hasn't
A
been talked about
a
ever since.
white
The
proto.
white. Yes.
Yeah.
A
Ooh.
all white Mandalorian armor would be so cool. The
Wow.
only problem with that is she would have to be involved in other stuff. Now, I know that
Yeah.
they get away with this all the time. Balin, is not seen in anything else, and he's
Yeah.
in the Mandalorian. Grogu, of course, is not in anything else. He's seen in the Mandalorian. They do that a lot. The Rebels cast isn't in the original trilogy, but they're in the Mandalorian, so they could get away with that. But Omega as a bounty hunter with all white Mando armor would be so cool.
There's that one episode of Bad Batch where the white proto helmet is in Sid's office
Yes.
too. Like she could have like got it. Like what if in season 3 Omega goes back and kills Sid to get revenge and takes that helmet?
Oh, that'd be so cool. Well, here's the thing. It's definitely gonna end in a dark, dark way.
Has
Not
to.
a
Has to.
lot of these Bad Batch members are not making it out.
No.
So you like Tech, of course, is dead. Do you think Tech's dead? I've heard
I
people
don't
say
know.
that.
I hope he's not. I love Tech,
Yeah,
but who knows, man? I mean, no, is anybody ever really dead in Star
I
Wars?
know. Yeah, I feel like it would take away from the second season's ending if he
It
wasn't
would.
dead.
Yeah.
But I could see again him still being alive on Mount Tantus somewhere or something like that. Let's say he's dead for now. You still have Crosshair, Omega, Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo. They're definitely not all making it out alive.
No.
So if Hunter dies, which seems the most likely because he's the leader,
Uh,
or Wrecker dies, or they all die except for Omega, then she's going to be pretty upset about that. And that might lead her to be a bounty hunter or lead her to go back and kill Sid, like you said. That would be incredible. And it would set up the next animated show. Now, let me pitch you this.
mhm.
We talked about deepfake or recast with Luke, Leia, and Han. What if it's neither? What if it's animated Clone Wars style show of Luke's Jedi Temple?
Oh, I would love it, bro. Sign me up for multiple seasons because then you have so much more freedom. There's no expectations of actors. Like it's just animated and just get the voices or the
Yeah.
voices. Get someone that sounds like them. I don't even care if we
Yes.
get to see that. Like, did you just? I'm sure you saw it, but you saw the Clone Wars: Revenge of the Sith animation.
Yes. Yes. It's
Like,
incredible.
it,
It's so cool.
so give us that with everything. Redo everything
Yes.
like that. But a
Yes.
Luke's animated story, please sign me up.
So the problem with the sequel trilogy is the lack of explanation of stuff that came before the sequel
Yep.
trilogy. Ben Solo's fall is so important and you don't see it. It's almost like the original trilogy, you have Darth Vader, and you don't know that Darth Vader's Luke's father until the second movie.
Mhm.
Immediately, you know that Kylo Ren is the grandson of Anakin. You know he's the son of Leia and Han. You
Yeah.
know this right off the bat. So you're like, well, what happened? And the explanation of
Yeah.
what happened isn't really that good. In the original trilogy, you have the prequel trilogy and 7 seasons of the Clone Wars
Yeah.
to to explain the character of Anakin Skywalker. And it adds on so much. It adds on Ahsoka and it adds on an endless amount of storytelling.
Yep.
If you were to get 7 seasons of a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, not only could you explain Kylo Ren's fall to the dark side better with stuff like, for example, in the Clone Wars, the Mortis arc, where Anakin literally finds out that he will become Darth Vader,
Yeah.
or stuff like that, where you actually see him go dark side, like when Ahsoka gets put into prison and he literally starts killing people,
Yeah.
or Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order, which again pulls him toward the dark side. But you could also see new characters because
Yeah.
Ahsoka's a new character in the Clone Wars.
She
That
is.
is, she's so important to the character of Anakin, so important to the fall to the dark side of Vader, and that could actually happen again with Ben Solo and Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple because Luke Skywalker had more than one apprentice, more
Yeah.
than Ben Solo. So there's a
Yeah.
whole cast of these Jedi that you could fall in love with. You could love the new characters. You could really enjoy them. They could be new characters that involve other people, stuff like that. And then at the end of it all, you know that Kylo Ren's going to kill them all. So same like Order 66. So you can fall in
Yeah.
love with these characters and they eventually die. Same thing like Plo Koon was explored more in Clone Wars, and all the Jedi were really explored more, like
Yeah.
Mace Windu and all of them.
Even Quinlan. Quinlan was a
Yes.
dude in the background of Phantom Menace
Yep.
that Dave took and gave him a bunch of episodes.
Yep.
So awesome.
So if you get a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, it not only makes the sequels better, it all not only makes your original trio better because you can involve Leia and Han without having to pay anybody to really do anything except for, of course, the animators,
Yeah.
because Anakin, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, those aren't the same voices for the live action counterparts.
Yeah.
Rosario plays her in live action, and Ashley voices her in Clone Wars. Same
Yeah.
thing with Obi-Wan, same thing with Anakin, all of
Yeah.
them. So you can get new people to voice act, skip out on costing millions upon millions of dollars, and tell an incredible story. Because Clone Wars fans will live and die by the Clone Wars. If there's that same amount of fandom towards a Luke Skywalker Jedi Temple show, you're going to elevate the sequels so much higher and give an incredible story that fans have been looking forward to since 1983.
Yeah, that man, bro, that sounds like a dream. I wonder if they're thinking like that or cooking something up. I'm just wondering when we're gonna get announcements. I have like a bad feeling that they might not tell us nothing till Celebration, which would kind of be like, bro, that's still a year and 4 months away. I
Yeah,
almost feel like like Filoni needs to have like a San Diego Comic Con Hall H Kevin Feige moment where
yeah.
he breaks it down. Here's my timeline. Here's what we're doing this year. This is phase whatever. Like we need a little bit more structure and like to know what they're thinking because right now we don't even know what's dropping when this year.
Nope. Yeah, so this year we don't have a celebration. So next year's celebration is going to be very important, and maybe he does do that where he comes out and gives us a whole timeline, which would be
Yeah.
amazing. He's
Oh,
like, "Guys, I got a promotion, and here's this," and then like it goes up on the.
yeah.
Um, but there is D23 this year. We didn't even get a D23 this year or
Last year,
2023
yeah.
last year. Yeah, no, last year. But D23 could obviously give us a bunch of announcements, but that's, I believe, in April this year. I forget. So
Isn't
that
it like September?
no, actually, this year it's in April, I think. L-
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they pushed it up. I think. I could be wrong.
Oh,
Fact
no,
check
it's
me.
August 9th through the
August.
11th.
Okay.
But that's still 9 months, 8, 9 months in
Yep.
to wait for what's going on.
Yep. So we won't know release dates. We won't know announcements. Any of this. But you're going to Star Wars Celebration in Japan. There's gonna be what's coming next because
Major, yep.
we know the Force shows this year. We know what's probably coming next year, which is Mando season 4, possibly Ahsoka season 2. We know the movies that are on the slate, but after that,
Oh,
we
yeah,
don't know anything.
nothing.
Literally nothing. So where there was surprises like Skeleton Crew last celebration or last
Mm,
whatever they announced, Skeleton Crew. Um, when there was surprises like Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, even Andor was a pretty big surprise because nobody thought that,
yeah,
that was going to happen. At one point, Mando was a big surprise.
huge.
That those are coming next year because right now there's
Yeah,
nothing on the horizon. As much as there is this year and the next year, there's nothing past that that's been announced. So there's going to be some major announcements at Star Wars Celebration next year that will be live action shows, that will be animated shows. The future is really up in the air right now for Star Wars past these next couple of years, and
yeah.
it looks pretty bright to me at least. It looks pretty damn bright.
It does, as long as Filoni has his hand in it, which he should.
Yes, he should.
That Lucasfilm Showcase panel at Japan Celebration on April 18th, Friday, 2025. I have the dates right here. I'm like so ready for it.
Nice.
But that panel is gonna be mind blowing because like I do picture it as a Kevin Feige moment for him and he kind of just breaks it down. This is my plan. This is what I got cooking. And I'm hoping to hear stuff like we're gonna do a Knights of the Old Republic show. We're gonna do a Star Killer special movie for Disney Plus. Like I want like the juice that we want,
Yep.
and it's gonna be crazy, man. Because like you said, we don't know what's coming after Mando season 4. We know for sure, and the 3 movies, and that's it. Like in this year, and that's it. We know nothing, nothing
Yeah.
about nothing.
And it seems like there's gonna be a next animated show because after Clone Wars there was Rebels. After Rebels there was Clone Wars season 7. After Clone Wars season 7 there was Bad Batch. So there's gonna be something next.
Yeah.
It's kind of just whether that's gonna be a Luke Jedi Temple show, whether that's gonna be a Cody and Rex show, whether that's gonna be something else. We don't really know. Um, but going back to what you just said, an Old Republic show could be announced. That would be incredible. I
Yeah.
think what are you waiting for when it comes to the Old Republic? Because there's characters already ready for you there. The fans already love that time period so much. It seems like just a gem that they're sitting on top of that they really just don't want to give away. And it's really weird that we haven't gone there yet. The Knights of the Old Republic video game that's been in active development for so many years now,
Yeah.
it's very strange. I do like that we're going back to Dawn of the Jedi, though. That's
Yeah.
before Old Republic, at least, and we could lead into the Old Republic from there. But we want Revan. We want Malgus. We want all these characters,
Yeah.
and it seems like a no-brainer. It seems like billions upon billions of dollars that they're just waiting to make. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Did you see that one rumor that in Acolyte there might be like something like kind of Revenish, like it might be
Yes,
like a holocron projection,
yes,
and like supposedly that Keanu Reeves has like a small role in Acolyte allegedly or something. Like I don't know how true this is, but imagine
yeah,
if in Acolyte there's a holocron and it's Keanu Reeves as Revan. and like that's like the beginning of something they're gonna. Oh my god,
That
that's
would
like
be
that's just us dreaming. It probably won't happen, but imagine.
that's like us dreaming. You're absolutely right. But if, like you said earlier, if Leslie Headland is like a Dave Filoni type person, that would be something that could happen.
Yeah,
Darth Revan, of course, is dead, long dead by then, but
yeah, oh yeah,
a hologram of him would survive.
yeah.
You look back at like have you seen Colin Trevorrow's Duel of the Fates script and stuff like that?
I heard that everyone loves it way better than what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, so one of the opening scenes, I think actually Theory did like an animation about this. Kylo goes to Mustafar, and it's not the same Mustafar we see in Rise, but it's Mustafar, and he opens a holocron, and it's Palpatine, and he's talking to him. So it could be something like that, where somebody
Yeah,
opens a holocron, and it's Revan teaching a lesson to somebody, but the person's obviously long gone,
yeah,
and just seeing Keanu, like it would be like Toby and Andrew coming back to play Spider-Man, like, it would be that big of
it
like,
would.
fans wanted Keanu to be Revan for years, and although I don't think he will be, Revan if they go back to Revan because Keanu's, like, 60 now, and you're probably gonna wanna do a younger version of Revan and then
Yeah,
have him age up, but you could have some sort of older Revan type character in a holocron or whatever and just give him a cameo. Give him a cool appearance and then find another actor that looks like a young Keanu Reeves to play the role of Revan. But yes, that would be absolutely insane. I remember that rumor, and again, it's just a rumor for now, but
yeah,
it would be so damn cool. I don't really know how much Sith are going to be involved in this Acolyte show. I hope it's a lot. I hope it's Plagueis. I hope it's Revan. I hope it's all of them.
yeah.
I really don't know, but that is quite the rumor. I mean, that would just be like every Star Wars fan's dream, pretty much.
It would be. It would be, man.
Yeah.
But so, that's pretty much all I got because this went way longer than I thought, and I feel like if we don't stop, we're
We'll
gonna
go
just
on
keep.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you got coming up next for your channel that the people could look forward to?
Well, I do live streams on my channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So watch out for those and videos every other day, pretty much, and shorts and all that other stuff. So just go over to A Guy Who Loves Star Wars, hit that subscribe, of course, and watch out for live streams and other fun stuff there. And of course, if you haven't yet, go subscribe to Sith Talks as well.
Yes, yes. So for you guys watching, I'm gonna put the link to his channel down in the description. Go check him out. His live shows are awesome. I'm always popping in there.
Oh, yeah.
Always a good time. But Mike, I appreciate you coming on and giving me your time, man.
I appreciate you for having me.
Of course. And that's it for this episode of Sif Talk, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.